Your wish is my command. All right. Let's see. Share screen. Actually, we got to pull that out. Okay. Let me see all y'all. We don't want that. We want window. Hold on, everybody. Give me 1 second. That's it. Where am I? All right. Let's see. No, that's not it. What up, everybody? I'm sorry, everybody. Not really paying attention right now, but we're gonna get into this. So, yes, I am live. Let me see here. We got Ubin T rolled, Mario. We've got Big Slim 91, Jose, F22 Raptor, Eyes on the State, yo. And yeah, this was a very interesting article. So yeah, that's all I could say. We're gonna get into this. I'm gonna do a little story time. Actually, I'm just gonna play it, and we're gonna periodically stop it, and we're gonna talk about it. So, but let me check one thing. Just make sure everything's good. I got 44 of y'all in here. I appreciate that. Hit that, smash that thumbs up. One more thing, and then we'll be on to the good stuff. There we go. All right, what's up, James Stewart? We got Jay Pelly here, Wolverine Transparency, Uphold Your Oath, Sean Pusher, Grumpy News Network, what up? Yeah. Santa's Apparenty, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Just hanging out, James. What's up, Keith Wise? Wolverine Transparency. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up. Thank you so much, Wolverine Transparency. You don't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. I really do. Oh, wrong one. There you go. Wolverine, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But like I said, we're going to talk about what, if you haven't noticed, there was an article I posted, and it was a Facebook link, but as you can see up in the screen right here, this is what we're going to be talking about. And this article was put out today, and it was about me. And Jeff Gray was actually in it as well. This article is actually pretty good. It was good, but it was bad, all in the same motion, if that makes sense. But what we are going to do is we're going to play. I'm not, I don't like reading a bunch of stuff, but we're going to get into that. Thank you very much, Grumpy News Network. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We've got Dr. Sean Berry in the house. And all right, let's get into this real quick. We're going to go ahead. Damn it, I hit the wrong button again. There it is. All right. Let's hit refresh, see if that makes a difference. All right, where is that audio? There was an audio button, and I'm trying to, it's refreshing right now, so hold on 1 second. I just got off of work, and usually I'm a little bit more prepared than this, but like I said, I just got out of work. Let's see here. Where the hell is the audio? Man, that really sucks. There was an audio link on here, and now it disappeared. Hold on. I'm going to go back. Technical difficulties always suck whenever you're trying to do something. Alright. Where the fuck is my lighter now? There it is. Now, what I don't get is there was a link or a little button that you could click and it was an audio over it. Let me see. Oh, this sucks. Sorry, everybody. All right, here we go. I got it.
Want to keep little hands busy at home? The Home Depot has free kids workshop kits with everything you need to get started. Pick up a new one in store starting the first Saturday of every month. Then head to homedepot.com/kids for a
hit number 1 if you can hear that.
Easy to follow along with. Plus,
let me know you can hear it.
Friendly content. Kids can't wait.
Yeah, hit that thumbs up, everybody.
Find out more at homedepot.com/kids.
All right, here we go.
He walked Clearwater Beach with an AR-15.
Can you hear that?
Is he a menace or a martyr? By Jack Evans, July 10, 2021. Clearwater Beach. Michael Taylor trudged over the crowded sugar sand, between sunbathers on beach towels and water-winged kids digging with plastic shovels. A few people peered at him from behind sunglasses. What was he doing? Live in that dream, he told anyone who engaged with him on a recent Monday. Live in that Florida dream. In his left hand, he carried a fishing rod and a pole flying a "Don't Tread on Me" flag. They bobbed in front of the GoPro camera strapped to his chest in shooting video. Something else, dark and dull but obscured, kept intruding on the frame. He fist-bumped a beachgoer and complimented the man's tattoo, the symbol of the 3%ers, an anti-government militia movement. The man asked about the thing slung over Taylor's shoulder, that shadow on the screen. It's an AR pistol, Taylor responded. A shorter variant of the AR-15 style rifle, fully loaded with a round in the chamber, he explained later. 4 Clearwater police officers stopped him minutes later, about 100 yards from Pier 60. Taylor, who also carried a handgun on his hip, wasn't worried. He was used to being stopped by cops. He sought it out, even. This is what the camera was for. Taylor, proprietor of a YouTube channel called The Armed Fisherman, has for 3 years traveled Florida with his fishing pole, flag and weapons. He almost always provokes a police response, which he gladly uploads. The videos get tens of thousands of views, part of an online ecosystem of so-called civil rights auditors, who invite and film confrontations with police and other officials. Openly carrying firearms is illegal in Florida, but state law makes a few exceptions, including one that allows open carry while hunting, camping or fishing, and while going to and from those activities. Taylor tests this law time and again. He's made hundreds of videos. He's been handcuffed dozens of times. Occasionally, he gets arrested, though he says he's never been convicted of committing a crime while auditing. A Tampa Bay Times background check did not turn up any convictions. Taylor titled the Clearwater video, filmed on June 14th. I tried to be nice, but tyranny doesn't care. Within 2 weeks, it had nearly 140,000 views, and he was planning a return trip. In the Clearwater video, a detective identified in a police report as John Kappa points out that Taylor chose to take a long walk down the beach, rather than park near the fishing pier. You think it's appropriate, walking around with an AR-15 on your chest, where there's children and everybody on the beach? Kappa asks, you don't think that's going to cause problems? I don't care about people's concern, Taylor tells the officers. I care about your reaction. The other side of the story: officers disarmed, detained and handcuffed Taylor, but turned him loose with his gun after about 40 minutes. Like usual, they determined his walk on the beach was legal. Whether it was in good taste depends on whom you ask. He could look like the next mass shooter or a charming patriot, a menace or a martyr. Taylor, a 41-year-old self-described constitutionalist, husband, father and chef at a farm-to-table restaurant near his home in Port St. Lucie, is fond of saying, "I'm just going fishing." In a recent interview with The Times, he conceded that what he does is activism. This is important, because if I let them take this right away and say, you can't do that, eventually they can take away all our other rights, Taylor said. He launched into a slippery slope argument, at the bottom of which lay a U.S. resembling communist China. By Independence Day weekend, Clearwater police had closed the case involving Taylor, then reopened it and referred it to the Pinellas Pasco State Attorney's Office, which is deciding whether he should face any charges. Taylor acknowledged the case in another video and said he questioned whether he should return to the beach on July 3rd, as he had planned. But he'd already urged other people to join him there. He made the trip. About 10 supporters turned out as Taylor, with his 2-year-old daughter in tow and his gun strapped to his chest, set up his fishing pole on Pier 60. At least one supporter filmed him. A couple of police officers patrolled the area, but they told a Times reporter that they didn't know Taylor was coming, and they didn't approach him. The only brief confrontation came when Taylor spotted the beach patrol supervisor who had called police in June. Trouble came because of you, Taylor tells the man in a video he posted soon after. Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Galtieri and Clearwater Police Chief Dan Slaughter acknowledged the legality of Taylor's expeditions, but they took issue with his tactics and expressed concern that introducing a loaded weapon into scenes such as that increases the potential for violence. The law is archaic, Slaughter said. I think it makes sense if you're trying to camp out and get to your campsite through the woods to carry a gun, but to intentionally walk through a heavily congested area with the sole purpose of trying to cause disorder or fear to make some kind of constitutional point is irresponsible and ridiculous. After Taylor demonstrated in Palm Beach with the group Florida Carry in 2019, the mayor and police chief there wrote to a state senator asking that the law be changed to prevent open carry in certain places, including guarded beaches. The senator, Palm Beach County Democrat Bobby Powell, introduced a bill in the next session that would prohibit open carrying within 1,500 feet of schools, places of worship, public buildings and guarded beaches. It died in committee. Taylor says he carries a gun while fishing for personal safety, because he was nearly robbed once, though he said he never reported it to police. He learned about the open carry law, he said, from one of his primary inspirations.
Here we go.
Jeff Gray, a St. Augustine truck driver whose YouTube channel, Honor Your Oath Civil Rights Investigations, has more than 100,000 subscribers. David Dewberry, a professor at Rider University in New Jersey, credited Gray with coining the term First Amendment audit. Gray, 51, began filming police in 2010, he said, in part out of frustration with speed traps that seemed more like money-making tools than benefits to public safety. The first time he did it, he said, I wound up in cuffs. In contrast with later auditors, including Taylor, who lean on profanity or aggression when they encounter police, Gray prioritizes keeping a cool head. He cites the manners his mother taught him, and the directive of Patrick Swayze's character in Roadhouse. Be nice. If you do wind up getting arrested, which has happened to me 8 or 9 times now, you don't want to be yelling and screaming and making a fool of yourself, Gray said, adding that prosecutors have always declined to file charges. You want to look like you were the calm, cool, rational person. He sees what he does as education, he said, for viewers and for police and public officials. Auditing is a relatively new phenomenon enabled by technology and social media, but it has plenty of precedents, said Dewberry, who recently published a peer-reviewed study of First Amendment auditors. He traces an American lineage of civilians recording police, from Paul Revere's iconic engraving of the Boston Massacre to the cell phone video that captured Derek Chauvin murdering George Floyd last year. Auditors, however, seek out encounters with police rather than witnessing and recording them spontaneously. We've all seen cops, Dewberry said. Lots of us have seen live PD. Those are heavily tilted toward the state's point of view. Now we get to see it from the other point of view. That can make some people uncomfortable, but it's the other side of the story. Dewberry found that auditors generally know their way around the law, though his research focused on auditors expressing free speech rights. He said they displayed firearms enough where I noticed it. Gray, in fact, once dabbled in gun rights tests. His second most popular video, with more than 2.7 million views, documents a run-in with Ormond Beach Police he posted in 2014. He was openly carrying a handgun while going fishing. That video contrasts sharply with Taylor's Clearwater stroll. It begins when an officer approaches Gray. There aren't any visible bystanders. Gray is quiet and compliant, and he's soon released with his gun. Still, he said, the experience left him shaken. The officer had drawn his gun. His wife and a close friend asked him to stop making open carry videos. They were afraid I was going to get shot, Gray said. I quit doing it. Is his way the right way? At least one auditor has been shot. In 2019, a security guard outside a Los Angeles synagogue wounded a woman who was filming the building.
This is Furry Potato.
Gray feels no regret about the subculture he helped spawn, he said, but reserves some ire for people he believes cross lines. He knows of an auditor in Texas who prowls residential neighborhoods, shining lights into homes at night, and has heard of auditors calling police on themselves to guarantee confrontations. None of that applies to Taylor, who Gray called a friend and someone who does things the right way. I definitely think that law enforcement could handle it a lot better than they do, he said. They should definitely be knowledgeable of the very same law, the same statute that authorizes them to carry weapons. Taylor regrets the torrent of profanity he unleashed on Clearwater officers last month, he said, but he's on edge after 3 years of guns pointed at me, cops telling me to get face down on the ground, me being thrown in the backs of cars. The Clearwater incident wasn't Taylor's first time filming in Tampa Bay. In 2020, he showed up in Johns Pass Village, as did Pinellas County Sheriff's deputies, who detained and released him. He likes to follow up to see if officers have received additional training. Galtieri said deputies don't get specific training on dealing with auditors, though there's general guidance for when they're being filmed. Be careful, and be aware of the law. A Clearwater police spokesperson said officers are trained on the issue. We'll follow the law, Slaughter said, but I don't think the law was created for what this gentleman is doing, which is to generate income by making a bunch of YouTube videos. Taylor, whose videos are sometimes accompanied by a PayPal link, said he makes a couple $100s a month from his channel and puts the money toward more travel and videos. His old channel, Solo Yacker, generated thousands of dollars before YouTube removed its ability to make money due to a policy violation. Taylor said it was because he reposted a banned Snapchat video from a man who threatened a mass shooting, in order to comment on it. David Thomas, a professor of forensic studies at Florida Gulf Coast University and a former Gainesville police officer, said he welcomes citizens questioning, challenging and recording officers. But the presence of a weapon makes the possibility of violence palpable. If the officers have the skill level and knowledge they're supposed to have, this should be fairly routine, Thomas said. What scares me is somebody is going to overdo it, and the officer is going to overdo it. Officers just arriving on a scene have no way of knowing the intentions of Taylor or any other armed person, Galtieri said. All they know is that they're about to approach somebody who's armed pretty extensively in a populated area. The danger that scenario creates aligns less with auditors' stated goals, he said, and more with a desire to bait the police. They're pushing the limits of it, he said, and they want somebody to take action against them so they can be a martyr about it. Thumbs up in fear. Taylor insists he doesn't want to scare anyone. There wasn't mass hysteria on the beach, he said. A lot of people were happy to see me, giving me thumbs up. But Taylor doesn't mention the people who weren't happy to see him. Not the people on the beach giving him a wide berth. Not the frightened children, a group of junior lifeguards, who fled just as police arrived, according to their report. Not the beach safety supervisor who called the police, nor the lifeguard who feared for his safety and called his boss, nor the worried woman who complained to the lifeguard in the first place. After the officers let Taylor go, they watched as he walked to the pier. He fished for 5 minutes, then left. He wandered around the area for about 20 minutes, police wrote. 4 more people called 911. Asked later what he caught at Pier 60, Taylor said he'd come up empty. I think I was using the wrong bait. Times staff writers Tracy McManus and Natalie Weber contributed to this report.
All right. Hold on, everybody. Let me get back on the screen. Let's get on the screen, huh? All right. Yeah. Well, so yes, if you just hopped in here and you didn't hear what just transpired, there was a lot of nonsense in this report. So yeah, and you know, what I do, this isn't the first article, this isn't the first time I've ever been interviewed, and it goes, I think what they're trying to do is cover both sides. What's up, Free to Film? How you doing? You're good. Yeah. And like I said, like, I don't, you know, he used parts of this, and I want to talk about some of this. Walked sand, living the dream. Don't tread on me, blah, blah, blah. All right, we're gonna talk about the gentleman that I fist bumped, and he had a 3%. He had a 3% tattoo on him, and they say it's an anti-government militia movement. It's not an anti-government militia movement. These were the people that's, if you don't know the history of the 3%, the 3% were the amount of, that was the amount of, it took 3% of the nation at the time to overthrow the British. 3%. That's why you hear them 3%ers, 3%ers. And it's not an anti-government. They're anti-tyranny. They do not like people trampling on their rights. Period. If you want, don't come for our guns, because it's not even, you could put it in the Constitution. We were already given these rights from the get. So yeah, and as you should be, I'm going to be a 3%er very shortly. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Like, so then we'll move on, and it's an AR pistol. It's a variant. Yeah. 100 yards from the pier. He wasn't. Also, he saw it. The camera was 4. And this is, he was used to being stopped by cops. He sought it out. Even, I don't seek this out. I don't go looking for it. If you know me, I just go. I understand. I have an understanding that they're going to come because they've gotten a call with somebody walking around with a gun. I get it. I totally get it. But to say I'm seeking this out, like I'm going out to seek out police, well, if you watch my channel, I've got numerous videos, and I'm about to post another video where no police showed up. So for me to say I'm seeking out police interactions, it's absolutely wrong. And he's like, this is what the camera is for. No, the camera is for me to document other counties and other places that do not have body cams. I told him that. I was like, there's been places I've been where they have no body cams or any cameras or any audio or anything. So it's my word versus their word. And I really wish he would have put that in there. But, once again, this is how they're trying to paint all this picture. So, YouTube armed fisherman uploads, gets tens of thousands of views. So-called civil rights auditors. I don't recall myself calling myself an auditor. In sense, I am auditing, but at the same sense, I'm not auditing. I'm just going fishing. Auditing is completely different than what I am doing. Even though it's kind of like an audit because I'm recording the situation and what I'm doing, it's kind of like that. But it's not like auditing. Auditing, they have way more freedom. They have way more they can go places I can't. Like, they can just walk willy-nilly into wherever they want to go pretty much, and they can do it. Me, on the other hand, I have to be going to and returning from. And there are very few places that I can really stop. And when I say stop, it's more like I'm going to get a drink of water, or I'm using the bathroom. Like, those are really the only kind of, I'm not even calling them stops. They're just, it's not a stop. Anyway, I've had law enforcement say that I'm stopping. But anyway, legal fair carrying, Taylor test the law time and again. Yes, I go out and make sure that not only myself and the people I meet and the law enforcement that I meet, that we all have a general understanding of the law. And that's what this is about. It's about the understanding of the law. And, it's so, like, some of these things were good, and then it was just like he would throw a couple bad parts in, and it's just like, geez. Try to be nice, but tyranny doesn't care. Within 2 weeks, it was at 140,000 views. Hold on. Damn it, what did I do to my phone? Oh, there it is. Let's see. About 3 weeks, 154,000 views. And it is what it is. So, identified person, John Kappa. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Friggin', I do take walks, and I like to walk, and I like to get exercise, and I like seeing my surroundings and enjoying life. I like, if I could just walk from where my house is to Clearwater, which I could, I would love that. But it's a very long walk, and it's going to be a multiple stopper day. Like, I'm going to have to stop to take breaks. But anyway, um, officers dismissed. Officers disarmed, detained, and handcuffed Taylor, but turned him loose after about 40 minutes. Like usual, they determined that his walk on the beach was legal. Yeah, that was after I called my lawyer. Um, I don't know. He could look like the next mass shooter. Like this part didn't even have to be in there. Like, why did you have to say I could be the next mass shooter? If that was the case, do you know how many? Do you like? Let's just say hypothetically. I'm not saying it will ever happen. Never happen. It will never happen. Um, if I was trying to hurt somebody, the hurt would have already been done. Like, you can't. They honestly really can't be that stupid. Like, you can't. Like, if I was really trying to hurt somebody, and then if you watch all the rest of my videos, I don't hurt anybody. I don't. People get butt hurt. That's not my fault. I mean, they're just they're butt hurt and they don't like it, and I get it. Yeah, exactly, James. What what does the next mass shooter look like? Like, that's why through all my walk, I'm nice to people. Hey, how you doing? Living the dream, going fishing, friggin' AR pistol, blah blah blah. I'm not grabbing it, not touching it, not pointing it at them, not doing anything with the firearm other than just carrying it. But I and then they want to call me a martyr. Like, I'm out there trying to get shot. Like, I'm trying, like, what I'm doing, and if I get killed or murdered or whatever, like, I'm the martyr. I'm the one that's willing to sacrifice myself, and I guess I am, but I'm not. I'm not trying to be that guy. I just want to be left alone and go about my day. So, and that's the crazy thing about this. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. AB, you're there is a problem with this. Like, this law isn't brand new. This isn't something that just popped up yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, this law has been going on for 10, 12 years or something like that. Like, it's been a while. And for them not to have an understanding, and for them not to understand that the same law that allows me to open carry is the same law that allows them to open carry. And that's the frustrating part for me. And that's where I was that day. Like, I'm trying to have a good day, enjoy my day. And then the first thing that happens to me is, let me grab you. I'm gonna grab you and hold on to you because you're carrying a gun. You're carrying a gun and it's scaring people. Like, I don't care. Like, they can be scared. Like, if I was gonna hurt somebody, then yeah, but I'm not out there hurting anybody. So it's just frustrating. He says, I'm fond of saying I'm just going fishing because that's where I'm going. I'm going fishing. um, and he conceded that what he does is activism. It is activism in itself, and that's why I say it's not like First Amendment auditing is a type of activism. It is 100%. It's testing law. It's law enforcement. It's testing public officials. It's testing people that should have a basic understanding of the First Amendment, and we're noticing that they don't have a basic understanding. If you go back to, like, Jeff Gray, Jeff Gray, he's been dealing with this stuff for more years than I have, and he's been arrested a lot more than I have. And when he first started it, he was he started it. I mean, I think there was somebody else, but it was I don't know, whatever. But Jeff Gray, he's a godfather, and that's where I learned it. They mentioned that in here, and I think they talked to Jeff Gray. And the thing about Jeff Gray was when I was learning about gun laws and how I could carry without a permit. Jeff Gray's was the first video I saw, one of the only videos I saw in Florida. And so I watched, I think he had 2 or 3 videos that he had, and I watched them extensively. And I learned the law, looked up the law, dug into the law. Then I started getting into, Florida carry. They helped me out a ton. The knowledge from 3 years ago, or like when I first started to where I'm at now, this is, you have to progress as whether you're an auditor or you're just an average day citizen. Try to figure out the law, try to understand what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, because that's how I stay protected 90% of the time. But and I have that basic understanding. But these officers, I quote 901 151. Do you know what that is? Nope, I have no clue what that is. I'm like you're out here asking for stuff and you don't even have a right to ask me. They launched a slippery slope. I said something about communist China, and we're seeing that. We are seeing what they are trying to do. They are trying to go into a socialist kind of world where the government's going to say, hey, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. Thank you. Thanks, Wolverine. Yeah, I love my daughter to death. But we are seeing that right now in this day and age, and in this specific moment. You're seeing ATF, you're seeing numerous states trying to ban guns, ban this, magazine limits, this, and these are public officials that have put their hand on a Bible, raised their hand and said, I swear or affirm that I'm going to defend the Constitution. There is nothing in their oath that these officers, these public officials, when they swear their oath, there is nothing that says they are there to protect and serve the people. Their job is to do their job and protect our rights. Yes, some politicians have, there's things that politicians do. Not all of them I agree with, but I'm just saying politicians do create some laws that may be necessary. Maybe. But if it goes, the first part of that has to coincide with the first or second or fourth or fifth. It has to go with our Constitution. If it deviates from our Constitution, then it's an unconstitutional law that should never be passed, and it should never even have been brought up. But they do this. This is our politicians. And then you've got law enforcement that swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. Like here in Florida, I can't speak for all other states, but here in Florida, I think I read it somewhere, but anyway, they swear to defend and uphold the Constitution of the United States, and the laws that are bound in Florida. Those are the 3 things that they're swore to do. That they don't have an obligation to protect us. Warren versus District of Columbia, federal court case, already been in there, proven that they have no obligation to come in. If there's a mass shooter going on, they have no obligation to come and try to help. None. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but in this day and age, some police are scared to be the next one to shoot somebody because of the George Floyd thing and all these things, and all these cops are like, oh, we're going to get defunded, we're going to be the next person on the news, we're going to be the cops are scared to do anything right, but they're willing to violate your rights. It's just so backwards. Yeah. And then they mentioned something about me. The only confrontation I had was with the lifeguard. Yeah, as soon as it started raining, so I was just about to duck under, and I saw him, and I was just like, dude, you caused this. And then they were all like, oh, they mentioned another part where, oh, he didn't see the other people running and this, that, and the other. Yeah, because you know something? The cops the lifeguard and all those other people instilled fear into those people. Sure, the one lady, she might have had a problem, but she might have been butthurt, but I didn't. I'm not the cause. You can say I'm the cause of 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 me making her butthurt, but I didn't hurt her. I probably didn't even speak to her. I might have said hi and just kept on walking, just like I did to all the other hundreds of people that were on the beach that friggin' were there, you know. And that's what I say. It's like you can always say, oh, you're oh, there was only a few people that enjoyed it. There's even if not, there were people walking up to me and saying hi and fist bumps and talking and saying, hey, just to let you know it's legal. And if people like at that point, if they don't realize that I'm not there to hurt somebody, then they got to be brain dead. They honestly, like, I walked a half a mile on that beach and didn't shoot or harm anybody. And they want to make me sound like I'm out there to try to hurt somebody, which makes no sense. And they talk about Jeff Gray. I will, after this video uploads, I'll put the link to the article. So if you want to go back and look at it or repost it or whatever, it's a pretty interesting article. I'll say that. All right, give me 1 second. I gotta grab another beer. Hold on. Don't leave. Don't leave. All right, I'm back. Okay, thank you for hanging out for that little brief interruption, and we'll keep going through some of these things that just like really didn't make me happy, And once again, I don't think Jeff Gray in this was trying to really say, try to like put me down or do anything. I just think that's how when they wrote this, that's the way it sounded. But 90% of my videos, I try to remain calm, cool. Like I really do. Like, but today was that day was one of those days. And then the other one was when the friend I knew from like high school, middle school, played baseball with the guy. He came out with his gun drawn, and if his gun was just drawn in the same way Jeff Gray said, in Ormond. The guy just had the gun drawn. It wasn't pointed at him or nothing like that, but it's still the fear. Like, that's real. Like, that's how real it gets. When the second the gun comes out, that's when I'm like, what's about to fucking happen? Like, that's when things get real for me. I don't mind when they approach me. I don't mind. I do mind this lady coming up and just grabbing me, not even just saying, hey, stop for a second, I need to speak to you or do something or whatever. Like, she just ran up and grabbed me, and then the other guy, he just came up, ran up and grabbed me, and I'm just like, dude, all y'all ain't, nobody's out here telling me who you are. You're just running up on people, grabbing people, like, that's how people get hurt. You've got, multiple people running at you, and you don't know what their intentions are. And some of these guys are in plain clothes other than the badge that you see as they walk up. But if you see a bunch of people running at you, I'm like, dude, what do I do? Do I start running? Do I run and try to get away? Like, and if I do that, then what's going to happen? Then they're going to break out their taser, they're going to break out their gun, and they're going to shoot me. And like, that's why I try to stop. And like, the beginning half of this interaction, everything was good up until the end. The end part was the part that I did apologize. I said, I'm sorry for the way I friggin', it's not like me. It's not like me to friggin' just go off on you, but you have to understand that you get guns, you get people putting you in handcuffs, throwing you in a car, and they don't understand the law, that's a problem. And yes, I'm going to address my government how I see fit. And that day, that's how I felt. That exact moment, that's how I felt. And and at hindsight's 2020, it's like, look, yeah, maybe I said some things I shouldn't have. Maybe I could have acted a little bit different, but that wasn't the case. They had it out for me. I probably would have gone to jail that day. I probably would have gone to jail if I hadn't called my lawyer. So, man, uh, uh, see, and that's the difference. Like they mention this part. Auditors, however, seek out encounters with police rather than witnessing and recording them spontaneously. That's a difference between an auditor, is that they can go out and they can not seek out the encounters, but they can go places that they go to a post office. The postmaster or the employees don't understand it. And the same thing for me. As I'm walking down a beach or walking down a road, I understand that most people don't know the law. These government officials need to have a better understanding of the law. And that's what I would say is the really difference, is that I'm just walking to go fishing. I'm not stopping off anywhere. I'm not doing anything other than just walking. Somebody says hi, I stop. I'm like, hey, what's up? Da da da. Got to keep moving. Goes on my way fishing. But auditing is completely different. I'm the same but different, and that's what I would say, is that there's times that they go to the police station, they go to certain places that somebody is gonna freak out because of recording, call the cops, and then yes, that's how the interactions work. Is that somebody doesn't know the law, that needs to know the law, and cops show up. So I'm not sure who this Dewberry guy is. I'll have to look him up. Man, then they go in to say, is his way the right way? Man. Um yeah, none of that applies. Gray feels no regret about the subculture he helped spawn, he said, but reserves some ire for people he believes crosses the line. He knows of an auditor in Texas who prowls residential neighborhoods, shining lights into homes at night, and has heard of auditors calling police on themselves to guarantee confrontations. I don't do that. None of this applies to Taylor, who he called a friend and someone who does things the right way. I definitely think law enforcement could have handled it a lot better than they do. He said they should definitely be knowledgeable of the the same statute that authorizes them to carry their weapons. And then I said, the torrent of profanity he unleashed, but after 3 years, it's like you get to a point. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'm gonna hop into some of this chat. I'm gonna go up a little bit. I've been ignoring y'all, but like this, I was I was excited that they did the article. I'm not taking away from that, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's bad news, good news, or whatever. It's the fact that it's out there. And if you actually go to, there's a Facebook link. I think there's like 1,200 something comments, 13 something hundred comments, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. Some of them probably came from a lot of you here. If you saw that post and you have Facebook, I'm sure I saw some names on there that I was like, holy cow. I was like, that's awesome. So I know there's a huge, almost 98% of everybody on this channel. Like, if you look at my likes to dislike ratio, it's about 98%. So that's 98% of everybody that comes to my channel likes what I do and how I approach it and how I do it. So in my eyes, I am doing it the right way, because I'm not out there trying to hurt nobody. I'm just going by the law. It's just law enforcement and their side don't like my approach to it. They don't like me walking. They don't like me, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not really sorry. I'm not saying I'm sorry, but I'm just saying it's just the way it is. It's by the law. It allows me to do this. Maybe I stopped off at the bait and store while I wasn't open carrying, got friggin' bait, and instead of hopping back in my car and driving a mile, I decided to walk or whatever. You know, wait, like, and if you haven't noticed, I went crabbing the other day, and I'll be doing some more crabbing. I'm gonna be just carrying a net, some chicken legs, and a string, and I'm gonna go have fun crabbing. Don't need a fishing pole for that. And I'm sure that one's not gonna go over well, but you know they're just gonna have to suck it up, Buttercup. That was battery under color of law. Absolutely, Dr. Seanberry. When she grabbed me like that, yeah, that was that's battery. you know, yeah, just like the one guy, friggin' Officer Kanalkis or whatever, friggin' um, that's just how it is. That's just he reached out. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, and he didn't even tell me who he was. He just walked up and tried to grab my gun. Yeah, thumbs up, 7 days. Audits America supports you. Thank you, man of God. Never give up, and I won't. It's this doesn't stop. You know, it's only gonna continue because I'm starting to reach out into places I haven't been. Like, I haven't really been a lot through the Central Florida part, like in the mid part of the floor, in the central, you know, in the middle part of Florida, not the coastlines, but in the middle. And I've been doing a lot more freshwater fishing. Um, yeah, I spy. There's things that are coming. There's things in the works right now. I used to talk about them. Now I don't talk about them, only because I've, like, how you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have the best day ever, and you keep talking about it, and then turns into the shittiest day ever. Right now, I'm going through that, where I kept talking, and things weren't progressing as I was hoping. So now I'm just kind of keeping things are in the works, but you know, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, yeah. Seminole County officers are the worst. Yeah, yeah. The PD needs to be educated. And there's a God, man, I'm gonna kick myself in the head. Chris Wagner. Chris Wagner is a firearm trainer. He does a lot of work with the police. He trains them on gun laws and things of that nature. And Chris Wagner is actually, I believe it was Chris Wagner, and they've just started talking about gun laws here in Florida. Um, like, it wasn't that, like, these officers go through extensive training in 6 months, and they have to learn a lot of the laws. And so, for the most part, hey, what's up, Geo? Some of these laws just get overlooked, and a lot of them, like, if you go into the 790 statute specifically, just 790, it's it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. There's a lot of laws that just probably just get overlooked on their side. And I'm not giving them excuses. I'm just saying. But yeah, yeah, yeah. If somebody can post that link. I'm not sure what it is. As long as it's rated PG, it's all good. Hey, what's up, Audiot Whole Yorkside? Watching all the way from England. I appreciate you coming in. And if you want, there's going to be a link after this. I'm going to put the link to the article. If you're just getting in, there's an article they wrote up. Um, It's kind of an interesting article, but whatever. Read the article. They say some good things. They say some things I don't agree with. I'm not going to say they said any bad things because, you know, like some of the stuff they were saying is truthful. I just think they said it in a way that kind of, you know, but that's news. That's them selling news, you know. And even for them, like they're getting a lot of traction on that article. And how I know is like, if you can imagine they put out a video of this, it probably would have got 50,000 views and 1,000 comments, just like this one did. What's up, Gio? If I didn't say hi, Gio, what's up? Thank you, bro. Thanks, Casey. And you know the deal, everybody. I'm going to be going on here for about 10 more minutes. I run this for an hour because some people actually will watch this live stream for an hour. The good part of this video is going to be at the beginning. So if you just joined and you want to watch the video again, I basically play the audio of, they have like a voiceover of somebody reading the article instead of you hearing my voice. And, you know, like, I'm a smart guy. I'm just not the best speaker. And I'll be honest, you know, I'm not a great speaker. I was never, you know, if you were to look at what's up, Dennis? I'm glad you're here, brother. If you actually looked at like my report cards as a kid, I excelled in 3 things. It was math, science, and history. And even history was only because it was like I was learning things about history, you know, but they don't even teach history anymore. So the 3 I excelled at were I'd always get A's or B's in, were math, history, and science. And then English was like C's, B's, C's, D's, F's. I hated English. I hated writing. You know, I know how to write, know how to read, know how to do all that. It's just, I friggin' hated it. And this is what I would say about public education compared to college education. They're almost the same, but they're different. At least with college, you're focused in on a goal of what you're wanting. In education for public schools, they're covering such a broad paint that they don't focus on what you're interested in or what you're excelling at. If you're excelling in marine biology, they should have more technical schools as you get out of like 5th grade, to where they start pushing you into like more of a, you know, still give you this kind of education, but focus you more into this type of something, because that's what you're excelling at. So, you know, instead of trying to make a science person an English major, let's focus on keeping those people extremely energized about whatever they're interested in. You know, that's what happened with me. You know, I can tell you how I started cooking. You know, one day my parents had the funny thing about this book is probably just as old as me, and they still have it. It was, I think it was right around 1978. It was published, and it was a Betty Crocker book. If I'll have to get the book and show it to you sometime, but this Betty Crocker book, I went through it, just thumbed through it, and one day I was like, you know, I'm gonna cook my parents breakfast in bed. And I got the book, made French toast. That was my first attempt at making anything for breakfast for my parents, or even cooking in general. And, you know, it probably wasn't the greatest, but it was edible, and they ate it, and they said they loved it. And that was my first. I was like 13 or 12 or 13 when I first did that. And then it's only been a progression from there. And even when I was in my late teens, early 20s, you know, my parents were like, oh, you should get in the military because you don't know what you want to do. And I'm like, I do know what I want to do. I'm like, I want to cook. I'm like, I want to go to culinary school. I want to be a chef. And they kind of, it wasn't very accepted. I'll say that. And then, thank you, Don't Tread on Me. And it wasn't very accepted at the time, but after the last 30 years and me running restaurants, running hotels, the sous chef, executive chef, food and beverage, or the restaurant manager and the chef at the same time, you know, I've put a lot of time, effort, blood, sweat, tears burns, everything. And my parents now have said, we wish we would have kept pushing you instead of trying to steer you away from this or from that. You know, like I tried to get in the Marines. I have really, my knees are bad. I had some health issues that I had some waivers. So anybody on the that's been in the military, if you know about some waivers as you're going through MEPS, you know, you have to tell them about any friggin', you know, your medical history is basically you sign over your HIPAA and they start going through any problems that you may have. I had knee problems when I was young. Never didn't have surgery, but I have knee problems. I had bronchitis. I had some issues, and I was going through waiver after waiver. And I think it was like the third visit I went back, and they said, "Oh, we have to do one more thing," and I was just like, "No." I'm like, I'm. You either take me or you don't take me. If you don't want to take me, then I'm gonna walk away right now. I'm just leaving because I tried my damnedest to get in, and they were trying to work with me. The Army wouldn't take me, the Navy wouldn't take me, and then after the Army and Navy, because I love the ocean, so I was like, hey, being on the ship with a bunch of dudes sounds like a good time to me. But anyway, uh, that was a joke, everybody, if you didn't catch that. But I tried to be in the Navy. I was going for the Army, Navy, and then I went straight for the Marines. And the Marines were the only ones that were really looking at taking me. And like I said, I had to jump through hoops. I scored very well on the ASVAB test. I did the physical part, no problem. There was, there were things, but my medical was what really hindered me on getting in. So that really sucked. But, you know, whatever. I was willing to fight for my country, and then when I was doing this, I think it was like a year and a half later, they went to war in Iraq or the Afghanistan war. I can't remember which one it was. It was Iraq or Afghanistan. It was one of the two. And then my parents, 5, 7 years later, were like, "I'm so glad you didn't get in the military because we would have hated ourselves if you got in the military and died." And I was like, if I would have died, I was fighting for something. It might not have been the best. It wasn't a war that I think that we should have been fighting, but that's what you do when you sign up for the military, is you're willing to give your life to fight. And I wasn't gonna just be like a cook. I wanted to be a sniper. That was my goals, to be a sniper. And that's one of the hardest things, other than being like a Navy SEAL and certain like really higher up epsilon friggin' of those elite groups of the military. Snipers is probably one of the hardest ones because it's a memory thing. You have to, like, extensive. But so anybody that's in the military, you know what I'm talking about. I did my best, but it didn't work out. Yeah, 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 Jim Meyer. Like, I was honestly shocked. I was really, really shocked. I was just like, you don't want to take me? I'm like, okay. I'm like, I go to, and like all these offices are all lined up, one after the next. So it's not like, all right, you're not hiring here. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next place to see if they're hiring. Yeah, but it was it was my time, and I tried, and it just didn't work out. So it just didn't work out. Yeah, yeah. Dr. Sean Berry, he's a vet. And I appreciate him for everything he's done for our country and everything that he does today for our country. If you don't know Dr. Sean Berry, he's a First Amendment auditor. He's been out with Rogue Nation. He's been out with some of the top dogs of Florida, and he's an amazing man. This guy is very calm. He's been arrested. This guy is so nice, and you know, he's not even being rude, not even in the slightest bit, and still has been arrested for garbage. It's just like, come on. Thank you very much there, Marcus and Kendra. I appreciate that. And then, like I said, don't tread on me. I appreciate you. Yeah. all putting in work, Dr. Seanberry. Even for the person that just picks up a camera for the first time, they're doing work by holding whoever they need to hold accountable. That's what this is about accountability and them. Like I said, when I go back to their honoring their oath, like honor your oath, there's an oath that they take. There's an oath that they swear to, and it has nothing to do with protecting and serving. They always say, oh, we're here to protect and serve our community. No, that's all. That's like on the back burner, dude. Like, you're protecting and serving the community. You start with the first three. You start with the Constitution. You start with the Florida Constitution, and then you start with the laws that are in Florida. You do those three things, and you don't even have to worry about the others. You don't have to worry about protecting and serving people. There are always going to be criminals. There's always going to have people with that bad intentions. And these bad intentions, people need to stop being a sheep and stop waiting for the police to come help you. Help yourself. Defend yourself. That's what I would say is get out there, and get some training with a firearm, or go out and do some martial arts, or go to a friggin' boxing academy and learn how to box, learn how to defend yourself. There's always going to be evil people, and 911's about, I'd say, 6 to 10, maybe 12 minutes away. By the first phone call that they get, they usually do not show up for at least 6 to 10 minutes. So 6 to 10 minutes. Figured I'm going to defend myself in that 6 to 10 minutes, because I may only have 30 seconds to defend my life. I can't wait for the police to show up and say, hey, hold on, man, hold on. I just called the police, man. Just give me, how long you say? 6 to 10 minutes? Can you wait 6 to 10 minutes before you shoot me? Because they're on their way. I just don't want to die. I want, like, it doesn't happen. So, yeah, it happens. There's a lot of things. The military is looking for they're looking for the best of the best, but they also want to have the healthiest of the best. They're willing to take people that may not be the best, and there's other jobs for them. I'm not criticizing anybody that might have taken I would have taken a cook shop. I wouldn't have cared. But, the military needs people in every way, shape, and form. They're their own cycling kind of city or town or whatever you want to call it. So they have to have cooks. They have to have, laundry people. They have to have all these things so that their world just is, going good. Yeah. Yeah, they're all looking for me. Father, a patriot, and a man of God. Thank you, Dr. Seanberry. What up, Michael Johnson? How you doing, brother? Tim, we got Tim Turner. Yeah. Yeah, good luck. But like I said, everybody, you know the deal. Yeah. That's funny, Tara. Yeah, her doggy does 35. My 45 does 900. That's funny. And Tara, I don't think it was you, but if you don't know, email me at Solo Yacker Giveaways. Solo Yacker Giveaway. Here, I'll type it in. Solo Yacker Giveaway at gmail.com. All right. For any women that are on this channel right now, you don't have to be a first-time shooter. You can be a well-established shooter. I don't care. But we're going to Shooters World in Orlando. We're going to be shooting automatic weapons. We're going to be shooting a bunch of semi-automatic weapons, and it's going to be a free range day for taking 4 subscribers, and then I've got 3 other women that were first-time shooters that had already been there the first time, but the first time we were under COVID, and it was kind of, I was really not happy about it because, you know, the key thing about when I was shooting for the first time and I took my wife was after the first few shots, there's this smile. There's this like, oh yeah, like you, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like an adrenaline or if it's just like, I don't know. And what I couldn't see was all the people that were smiling after shooting guns. I saw it after we got out, but for the most part, I was really saddened to see I couldn't see everybody's enjoyment of shooting that gun. So now that COVID's pretty much over, we're going back and we're going to be shooting more guns. And Dennis Eggleston, he was there, and he remembers, and it's a lot of fun. So Leacker, what do you think about AR style 12 gauge? I hate shotguns. I have a shotgun, but I hate shotguns, and it's mainly because of my shoulder. Like at this point, I've if you haven't noticed in some of my videos, I always complain about my shoulders. I've got bad shoulders. Both shoulders are bad. The left one's the worst. The right one's catching up to the left, and it's mainly because I'm getting old. And injuries and put in handcuffs and complaining about shoulder pain and just being left in handcuffs. Yeah, those things. But AR style 12 gauges are cool. It's once again, you're still dealing with an AR platform. Um, a lot of things are stupid easy to fix on the gun because the parts are so readily available. I mean, other than the bolt carrier group and the barrel, maybe the magazine might be a little different, but for the most part, it's an AR, and it can be converted back into an AR-15 or AR, a 5.56, an AR-9. You just got to swap out barrels, but still, I may own one day. I just don't like shooting them. I really, unless I'm going hunting or something, I'm not a big fan. Let me see. You could put a handle grip on it, and it makes the difference. Yeah, and it does make a difference. I'm just not a big fan. Not a big fan. Not criticizing you, just me personally, not a big fan. In South Florida, DCL, Solo, have you had any more run-ins with Melbourne PD? No, I have not. I haven't been back to Melbourne since they dropped the charges. So, and I probably won't go back. I probably won't visit Melbourne anytime soon. I'm kind of like I'm just gonna let everything kind of cool down, if you will. So, yeah, thank you, Don Webb. Appreciate that. But we are at that hour and 8-minute mark, so I am going to go ahead and get off of here, everybody. I appreciate every one of you. Make sure you just give me a little thumbs up before you get out of here. And I've got 2 more open carry videos that I haven't put out. I've got the one where I'm going out with chicken, and I've got the other one that I already ruined that because there was no interaction. But I've got 2 more of those videos coming. I've got y'all know I rock the flops, right? The flip flops, free Eric brand. I rock flops. I'm about to do a review on the flip flops I've been wearing for the last 7 months, almost 8 months now. And I will tell you, I'm about to buy 2 more pairs of these things because I go through flip flops like it's going out of style. I only own 2 pairs of shoes. I own work shoes. I own flip flops. 90% of the time, I'm in flops. So, yeah, she's gonna definitely get a bunch of guns whenever. It's gonna happen quicker than it's probably. They're gonna be my guns, but everything that I own, she's gonna own after it's all said and done, because they ain't gonna get my guns. They're not gonna get them. Conor Moreira's done. Thank you, Casey. What's up, Frankenstein? What kind of flops? They're called flow flops. FLOPS. You can find them on Instagram. I believe they have a website, but it's a Florida-based company. It's out of I believe it's Jacksonville, and they reached out to me. They love my activism. They were like, hey, can you rock our flops? And I'm like, yeah, I'll rock your flops. I'll put a link to their. If you go to any one of my later videos, you'll see a link to the Instagram. Awesome clothing line, awesome sandals. Highly recommend the sandals 100%. But even the gear, their shirts and stuff, like they sent me a fishing shirt, and it's really nice, lightweight, one of those really quick drying shirts. So check them out. But like I said, I'm gonna get out of here. I've got I've got to do some editing right now, and I'll be getting back to y'all here shortly. I love every one of you. And like I said, just hit that thumbs up right before you get out of here. And I'm going to say, solo yacker, deuces. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Love every one of you. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate you. Yeah. It's all good, Casey. But I'm out, guys. See ya.